Hey everyone, Shado here for the big $150 Patreon goal. We hit $150 per month, so therefore we hit the milestone goal that I had set for that, which is a thank you level 1. The level 1 thank you being that I personally thank you in a video for all to see. And also, as I specified, I'm going to try to not make that boring, as impossible as that sounds. So, first one is Riala Sheng, who requested to be known as Riala Sheng, assuming I'm pronouncing that right, and they stated that they cannot think of a special message. Well, that's not going to help make things any more interesting. So, Tara, want a cameo? Tara? Moving on, we've got Malik Langer. I really hope I'm pronouncing these names right, who requested that I say a Schwarzenegger quote with the accent. When did I seem like I was good at Schwarzenegger? One they threw out there as an idea of something to say was something like, "Get to the chopper!" And I know that's not the right accent. Got any suggestions?
I'll be back.
Aside from that one, everyone knows "I'll be back," which still sounded terrible. Your mother told me when I was writing these down that I should do, "It's not a tumor! Put that cookie down! No!" I hope those work. I'm terrible at Arnold Schwarzenegger, I guess. I've never really tried, so I think I see why. And next one, Chris Butterfield says, "Fantastic. I am fantastic. And he is one of my biggest supporters." Just joking. Really? Oh, I was feeling good about that. Or was he just saying, just joking about wanting me to say that? As the next on the list, actually, of all the patrons I sent out messages to, that, you know, everyone who qualified for the first level thank you, who was a patron at the time the $150 goal was met, this one actually did not respond, which is unfortunate. But fortunately, I do know the difference between the name the pledge was under and who I'm supposed to be thanking here, because there's a slight difference. I'm not entirely sure about all the details, but none of those matter. Thank you, Seth. And as the notes that I wrote down was, they did not respond, but they're awesome. Ming the Merciless. See, all the other names sounded normal, and then all of a sudden, BAM! Well, I did say, you know, pseudonym, well, so I only have myself to blame for that one. They actually gave a request. Please review Solo, sci-fi from 1996 about an android that goes haywire, built by the military. That sounds pretty awesome, but I also have to say, of course it was built by the military. Why wouldn't it be built by the military? Everything that goes wrong was built by the military. Have you ever tried to get your GPS to actually function properly? You know, that was built by the military. It explains it all right there. But also, I left a personal note that Ming the Merciless is actually the one who directly hit the $150 mark. So, thanks for me for that too. Followed up by Nick V, who only told me to call them Nick V. I of course appreciate everything they've done, but not much to work off of that. Takao Nishijima, who I have no idea if I'm pronouncing his name properly, because I think I was trying to... Was it Takao? I'm really nuts. Plushy Pranksters isn't until the $200 mark. Get back up there. We're not quite there yet. You'll have your chance. So yeah, I am not exactly the most learned of how to pronounce Japanese names, or I assume Japanese. I'm learning a bit of Japanese, so that's the first thing I thought of. Because of course I was looking up Japanese and things and trying to figure out how to actually spell my name in Japanese. And one thing I learned is, well, first of all, I can't, not Decker. Because in Japanese, as far as I can tell, there are no syllables that end on consonants. They all end in a vowel. So eh. Can't end on a K, can't end on an R. But I did figure out that it's very easy to just say deka, so deka Shado. That's a perfectly legitimate way of writing something in Japanese. Well, saying something that's written in Japanese, because I obviously am not writing it down right here. He notes that he is looking forward to more Japanese film reviews, and also mentioned Cutie Honey, LOL. And yeah, it was a lot of fun doing Cutie Honey, but and Creepy is anxious to do more Japanese films with me. So much so that he was calling me up and saying, "Hey, we gotta do this. When are we gonna watch this so we can do it next week?" I said, "No, next week is this." It's like, "No, that's this week. It's Monday, remember? So next week is this." Like, "No, this week is from hell." Oh, okay. So, but real fun when he wakes you up and tries to confuse the weeks. Mitchell Hines. And again, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I'm kind of... I know how frustrating it is for people to not pronounce your name properly. Because, well, ever since Creative Chaos came out, my real name has been emblazoned on IMDb for all to see. Which is... well, I'll say how it's spelled first. Robitille. Nobody pronounces that right. I get Robitille, Robiddle, and Robitaille, which is the closest simply because that's from the French that it is derived from. But it's Robitille. Robitille. It's simple. Robitille. Why can't anyone else say Robitille? Every Robitille knows how to say Robitille. Why doesn't anyone else know how to say Robitille? But fortunately, all you can have to say is Decker Shado. It's much easier for you. But still, people spell Shadow with a W. Mitchell Hines says, he really enjoys my stuff, and am glad that YouTube's copyright claims don't keep me down. And yeah, I had a recent problem with them, where I was assuming that I was going to have reviews delayed another month, but fortunately it got settled before that, and things have been doing a lot better in that sense, but I'm still always under the YouTube sword of Damocles. But, I mean, even if they would take my channel away, I'd still keep making videos, and I'd still keep uploading them, and everyone can keep track of me on Patreon just fine, and you can still find out exactly where I am, and yay, that's good. That's a web address. OENOMAUS.US. They actually have a Patreon of their own. I was checking that out. They're an artist / painter, perhaps. I'm not sure. I didn't dig too much into it. I just gave a cursory glance. They have some interesting looking things. And they say they keep up the great work and they love the vids. Hello, Tara. Thank you for making a big trumping noise. Now I have a big message from Rapture's Lost, a fellow YouTuber. So, thank you, Rapture's Lost. And they said, "I'd just like to say that I've been a subscriber of your channel since you had less than 500 subscriptions, and that I really enjoy the content you put out, so thanks for all the hard work. I've seen you struggle on your quest to obtain a sandwich, so it was awesome to see you finally conquer that quest. I hope you can raise enough money to make it to Japan, and even though I'm not the biggest fan of the Gamera movies, I know you'll make it entertaining. Thank you." Smiley face. Or grinning face. Is a capital D. So, that was a mouthful and a half. I think that your message actually was larger than all of the other messages combined. Or at least what I truncated out of all the other messages combined. It's just, there was too much there, it was too specific that I could edit down too much. So I just figured, okay, just say the whole thing. And, yeah, I mean, of course I remember way back when I had about 50 subscribers. 500, that took some time before I got there. But yeah, looking back at how far I've come over the years, and whew, I mean, there's still a long way to go, and Patreon's really helping make a lot more things possible. And of course, not only Patreon itself, but everyone out there who has been donating and everyone out there who's been watching and spreading the word of Deca Shadow to everyone. Let everyone know of Deca Shadow. That's obviously been helping me a lot. Every little bit helps, and it's just amazing to think that it's actually gotten this far, because there have been times that I've been sitting there thinking that, this is not going anywhere, it's plateaued out, nothing's coming from this, and now I've got the plans for the 5,000 subscriber special, so, and it looks like we're going to hit that in May. Maybe sooner, maybe by the end of April, if I get a big surge somewhere, but from the current way it's going, in May, there's pretty much no way it would take any longer than that. So, yeah, long way. And I know there's plenty of YouTubers out there like, 5,000, that's it? I get that in a day. And I'm like, yeah, but when you don't have 200,000 subscribers, you don't get 5,000 in a day. Not enough people are watching to get your stuff that high on the search results. And then enough people just tripping across it. That's YouTube. And next thank you is to Tarbtano, or just Tarb. And it was a good thing that he told me exactly how to pronounce it, because I wrote it down initially as Tarbanto. And I'm sure that's one of the things that would have driven them nuts. Next thank you is to Callum Gearing, who says, many thanks, Decker. Hello. Okay. Oh, this is a thank you to you. You've given me money. You've already shown your thanks. But why have you been doing? How long have they been there?
Guys!
Damn raccoons. You think you get them all, and then next thing you know, there's just a raccoon over your shoulder, just photobombing your whole video, and you're talking, and you have no idea he's there for several minutes, and then you just hear that, and you know they got you. Next thank you is to Rob Cooper, who is looking forward to the video, which means I probably should have thanked him a lot earlier, because that means he just spent the entire time biting his nails, watching me wondering when the hell I'm going to thank him. Because he sent the damn message, why haven't I thanked him? And now we're here, and I did. And he's like, finally. And finally, the anonymous thank yous. I have only 2 who decided that they wish to remain anonymous, which is all well and good. Don't want to have your name thrown out there on the internet, that is fine, but still, thank you nonetheless. And thank all of you for all of your help, and hopefully soon that we will actually hit the Plushy Pranksters level. Because they are really anxious to get started. So thank you all. Thank all the patrons. Thank all the patrons that came on now that missed the $150 mark to get the thank you in this video. There's still more thank you levels coming, so you can get in on that unless you decide to just shut your Patreon thing down and leave. I guess that wouldn't work out then. But still, you will be thanked in the future thank you levels, and of course, everyone who participated to be in this thank you level will also be thanked in the future thank you levels. And be sure to check out the Patreon page below if you haven't already, and you haven't seeing exactly how far we've come, how far we need to go. I think right now we're sitting at, was it 157 or 167 per month? I think it's 167 per month. So we only need 33 more before we hit Plushy Pranksters, which is crazy. And it's just to see that it's gone as high as it has. Yes, honestly, on Patreon, for the size of subscribers that's... I've probably said this many times, but for the size of the subscriber base for my YouTube channel, generally you don't see numbers this high. There are some exceptions, but I would have been happy. I would be happy to be an exception and go higher than the gradients, but at the same time, I was not expecting that. I don't try and build up this big, everything's going to go perfectly. That's not how I think. So to see things go as well as they have is really uplifting. And I have all of you to thank for that. So thank you once again, and I really think I should script this whenever I get to the end and I can't think of something to say. Plushies, help me out here. Truer words were never spoken.